Alright guys, today we're going to be learning graphing, or we're just going to be learning different types of graphs and the differences and the features with each of them. Over the next couple days we're going to learn the different types of graphs, and they are frequency tables, line plots, line graphs, bar graphs, histograms, and pie charts. Now we're not going to do these all at one time, but we will do them throughout the next couple of days. The big ones that we're going to learn today are frequency tables, line plots, and line graphs. And you guys might have seen a couple of these before, but we're just going to go quickly through a couple of them. Now, before we start, I want to make sure that you guys are taking notes on this. This isn't one way to know that one way for me to know that you viewed this video. Okay? First thing is I want you to write the definition for each one of these. And then I want you to write the features. And then I want you to leave a little bit of space for our discussion, because we're going to come up with some examples of each one, or some ways to make each of these graphs and tables and stuff. So make sure you know how to take the notes for this lesson. And here we go. Frequency tables. First one we're going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way because it's clearly in the way. A definition of a frequency table is a table that lists each item in a data set, the number of times it occurs. As you can see on our example here, Mark has all these numbers 1 through 10, and he tallied how many times they occurred, and then he counts the tallies over here. This is what you call a frequency table. It's one of the more simpler tables to do. You can do it with just about anything, and a lot of graphs actually start out as a frequency table because it's easier to list things in this order and then make them look different in a graph, such as a bar graph or stuff that we're going to learn later on in our lessons. Some features of the frequency table are it counts how often something occurs, like I said, and it uses tallies and or numbers. So in this one it uses tallies and numbers, or the tallies and the frequency numbers. So make sure you get the definition and the features of this down, and then make sure you leave a little bit of space at the bottom. And then we're going to discuss that the next day in class. If you need more time to copy this down, please pause and then start it up again. Here's an example of a frequency table again. I thought of using something like food. Make a random survey of people, and you count up 13 people. You ask them their favorite food, or make them choose between these 4, which one they would want, and put it in a frequency table. Just thought you guys would like to see another example of a frequency table and how it works. Now we're going to move on to a line plot. A line plot is a graph that shows how often something occurs by stacking x's above each data value on a number line, as you can see here to the right. They're kind of neat, they're really fun, and there's a bunch of different ways you can use them. It counts how often something occurs, just like the frequency table. And it also counts with vertical tallies or x's. So it uses the same kind of tallies as they did before in the frequency tables, except it does it on a number line, which is kind of cool. And I came up with a really neat example for this one. We're going to roll a die, we're going to plot the results. So, I have my little die here. We're going to click it, got to 5, and we're going to put our x over by 5. Go again, 3, and we're going to put it over by 3. And let's just try one more time because this is fun. 4, and we're going to put our little x by 4. Now, I decided instead of going through this 100 times in front of you, I made my own. And here's what mine looks like. Roll the die so many times. Every time you have a number, if we were to roll another number, say it was a 1, we'll just stack our 1 right on top of that. Really easy table, really easy plot, really easy thing to do. And it's super fun when you do it for a bunch of different cool things. Now, we have a line graph. These ones are more, you probably have seen these more in the real world with companies and other things. You might have even made some of these for a for something that occurs over a amount of time. A definition of a line graph is a graph that uses points connected by lines to show change in values. And the features of this are it shows change over time, like I said, and it lists time on one side. It always has to have some type of time on one side. On the example right here, it is the days of the week. Okay? And then as you can see, each of these are connected when they plot at the points. They connect them all at the end. I have another couple examples of line graphs. Like I said before, if you need to get these down, please pause it, get these down, and then we will move on. Here's some more examples. I thought these were fun. You can graph your scores on each one of your tests over time. It's just the test on the bottom, which is the time, and then your scores are on the right. So this could be a date or a test score, or these are your test scores, and this could be a date or the number of your tests. Just like this for magazine sales, when we use these in sales or in companies to monitor how much they sell and how they're best sellers. In this one, you can see Thursday is a great day to buy magazines apparently, and Friday's not so much. So you see everyone buying on Thursday and not on Friday, but that's one way how to do it. And you have your time or your days down here at the bottom with your number of magazines that you sell for that day on the left side. And you always want to keep them intact, and you always want to keep them where they need to be. So there were 3 easy graphs. We're going to go over 3 other ones later, but not for this video. Have for class tomorrow, please have ideas for all 3 graphs shown today. So we need the frequency table, the line plot, and the line graph. Come up with 3 ideas, or even if you want to come up with some data, and just jot some stuff down in that extra part that I told you to skip some lines and write some stuff in. Just come up with some ideas, and we'll talk about it during our discussion. Also, if you have any questions, please write them down, and I'll answer them the next day we're in class. It's a real easy way that if you get confused on something, please ask me, because you're going to be tested on this information, and I'm thinking we're going to do a project, and we will talk about that the next day in class. Okay? And you have one more thing to do. Here's another way for me to make sure that you viewed this video. And it's also a fun way for me to do a raffle, I think, too. You're going to answer this question. Okay? You're going to use the graph to answer the question below. Which month had the highest temperature? Not too hard, but make sure you write your name down and you write your answer on a separate sheet of paper, and then I'm going to let you guys put it in a box inside the door. That's going to be one way for me to realize who viewed the video, and then if you get the answer correct, I might pick it out and I might have you guys have a prize. So make sure you get this down, and make sure that you have everything for tomorrow. This concludes part 1 of our 2 or 3 part lesson on graphs. I think you should be good to go then for tomorrow.